Donald Trump might end up having to sell some or maybe most, maybe even all of his properties to pay off the legal judgments he's already had against him. It's about $500 million, and we're not done with this thing yet. The issue is that adding insult to injury, selling off those properties might not bring in quite as much money as he might have expected. This, which we're gonna put on the screen right now, might be one of my new favorite charts in the world. I love a good chart, but this one is especially good because what it shows is the average price per square foot of condos, with the blue line being any condos not owned by Donald Trump, and Trump condos being the orange line, chosen at random, I'm sure. Thank you, New York Times, for that. But what you see is that for some reason, Trump branded condos were worth more per square foot than others from as far back as this chart goes, 2003 all the way up to 2015. And then after that point, suddenly the Trump condos go down. Now, there's some up and down, just as there are with the non-Trump condos, but he never manages to close that gap. And once 2020 hit, and he did something in 2020. I don't remember what it is that he did that might have turned people off to the Trump brand, but I'll research it. It suddenly dropped even more. And that means that his property is not worth as much as it might otherwise be, all else being equal, if he just didn't own it. Before we continue with the story, we depend on members to keep on going. Don't wait, click join now on YouTube. And we've got some more fascinating, I think, elements of this. We have a 1-year window in which condos and buildings that had the Trump logo on them went from selling at a 1% premium compared with similar units to selling for 4% less, meaning that the Trump condos became a bargain thanks to the presence of his name being on them. So even Trump Tower on Fifth Avenue, which he considers to be like his best property, it saw its average price per square foot tumble 49% since 2013. Now that part of that period is before he ran for president, so not all of that can be due to his brand, although he was doing a lot of the birther stuff during those early years, so I don't rule it out. There's other stuff that could potentially be affected by it, but overall, the takeaway: Trump branded buildings collapsed in value by 25% compared to comparable buildings that Trump does not own since 2013. And here is the most amazing part of this. Condominiums in 4 buildings where the Trump logo was removed when residents, sometimes after having to conduct a legal battle, insisted that it be removed, have seen their value shoot back up. The 4 buildings that removed his logo ended the decade from 2013 to 2023 up 9%, even outpacing the rest of the condominium market. So his name being on these buildings potentially lowers their values by literally millions of dollars, but the solution is clear. Just scrub the filth that is Trump off of your buildings and you can recoup some of that value, perhaps even start outpacing New York real estate once again. So Rayyvana, we don't know what he's gonna have to sell under what conditions, but maybe he should start trying to recoup the reputation a little bit before he makes those sales. What do you think?
Right. I mean, he could take his name off the buildings before selling them also, but he is the world's pettiest bitch and self-obsessed narcissist, and he would never ever do that. I'll say, maybe he needs to sit down with his son-in-law, have a class at the Jared Kushner School of Offloading Assets, because anytime he needs some money, he just sells a property to a member of the Saudi royal family. Doesn't even have to list it. Doesn't have to look around for a buyer. Just definitely suspicious, and people should look more into that and his connections there. But yeah, it's just a funny position for him to be in now.
Yeah, and we'll see if it ends up affecting. Of course, he doesn't have long to wait before he has to front this money, so he should really get on that. And honestly, he has so many reasons at this point that he really, really needs to be president again. But this is a big one too. The gravy train can start, I don't know in this metaphor, would it slosh or would it chug? I don't know. But the gravy train can start up once again if he becomes president. He can raise some money off of selling horrible overpriced sneakers. But like you said, he can get back in that just easy real estate sales thing if he becomes president again. The leadership of China and Russia and the Saudi Arabia will just start buying up condos for overpriced amounts, but not unless he becomes president again. And I'll close by just saying Cindy Lou in the chat says, take Trump's name off of Trump Tower, Chicago. It isn't supposed to be there anyway. I remember I went to Chicago during the Trump presidency, and out of my hotel window, I could see the big Trump on the building, and it just, why? Well, it's just so, it's not even his city. Like, it's just weird that it's there. Get rid of it. It can't be doing your building or your residents any favors. I literally, maybe I'm the world's pettiest bitch. I don't know. I would not move into a place that has Trump on it.
No, and they've had that issue with that building. So
yeah, 100%. They should work on that.